If you were born in the early 2000s, I truly believe that this video is going to change your life because I have a really embarrassing story that I think some of you might relate to. It all started in 8th grade. One day I was at school, the whole day went by, and for some reason that day, I was very inspired. I don't know what it was, but I'm pretty sure at that time I was playing Fortnite all the time, and I would always daydream about it in class. I would think about when's the next time that I'm going to be able to get home and play this game. But today was different. This was not about a video game. This was not about any of my other addictions or my phone or anything like that. I just felt extremely creative. And I felt like I needed a way to get this creativity out, and I wasn't sure how. I remember a few nights prior to me going to school that day, I had seen this video from Logan Paul, an extremely popular YouTuber at my time growing up that I used to watch every single day. And he had just bought this mansion, and I thought it was one of the coolest things because I watched him go from this apartment to this mansion in LA, and it was just insane seeing how crazy the world can be. At the end of his video after buying his house, he mentioned something about anything being possible or just an inspirational quote. And I remember putting it in my notes app on my phone, or it might have actually been an iPod Touch at the time. I can't exactly remember, but I pulled out my notes app and I put something along the lines of anything is possible. I can make anything happen. And what I've come to realize is that when you truly believe something, I don't know what it was about that one YouTube video that I saw, but it made me truly believe in myself, that I could do anything. And that's how I think every young kid should think. So that day, I got home from school feeling extremely inspired, more so than I ever have in my entire life. And I thought it would be a good idea to make a song, which was so random because growing up, I'd always watch YouTubers. I was never really into music or anything, but I felt this extreme emotional connection in my head with this beat that I heard on YouTube, which is very weird. Growing up, I used to play guitar, so I always had some involvement with music, but never actually producing a song. But I was like, this would be so cool. If I were to be able to make a song, I just think that it would be something that nobody else around me has done. So all of that inspiration had turned into this outlet that was my phone, where I had my Apple earbuds and I was just recording and singing and having an amazing time. And I just felt like this complete release of what I was feeling, which was a good thing. I had never been able to release my creativity to this extent. So I make this song, and this is where it starts to get embarrassing. I published it on SoundCloud. Now, looking back, I don't regret this, which I'll explain a little bit later. I'm actually very glad I did do it, but this made school a nightmare for me. So I remember specifically going back to school, and instantly everybody at the school had been talking about it, or at least all the people that I knew of or the people I talked to had all been talking about it, and I was like, oh no, what have I done? I've made a fool of myself. The song was not that good. It had auto-tune all over it. The only good part about it was the idea behind it. And I felt this level of embarrassment that I had never felt in my life because, there's certain levels. I remember specifically one time earlier that year, I had spilled something on my pants. It looked like I had peed my pants, and I was like, that's embarrassing. This is not that type of embarrassing because that type of embarrassment is sort of self-induced. Nobody around you was really saying anything. When I had released this song, everybody was saying everything to my face. And this is the first time I ever felt outstandish. Like people had an eye on me and they thought I was, I don't know, they were just judging me. But for some weird reason, even though the attention was bad, I actually enjoyed the attention that I was getting. And I'm not exactly sure why. Maybe it made me feel like some of these influencers or people I looked up to when I was younger, but it made me realize attention is something that you can earn regardless of what you're doing is good or bad. I had made a horrible song, yet everybody was talking about it. And for some reason, the young version of me who really did believe that anything is possible literally just lit up with joy, and I felt so just good about myself in a weird way, even though all the energy that was coming towards me was negative. Because we're all taught now that if you do something different outside of the crowd, if you do something that's not popular on social media or the people around you, you're weird. You're just not normal. Now, I wouldn't say that I was weird in the sense that I was that kid that picked his nose or something in class. It wasn't like that. I was weird in the sense that I was doing things so different that nobody else would do. And looking back, I genuinely think I was just a courageous kid. I don't think that I was doing this I don't know. I think it's honestly takes some courage to post something that everybody at your school is going to see. And I encourage you watching this right now to do whatever you want if you are truly passionate about something, and not to let anybody stop you from doing that. And that's where this story is heading. It actually has a very good ending, even though it was very embarrassing. So leading up, I kept releasing this music, and we need to fast forward a little bit all the way up until high school. And high school is where it got really bad because my middle school was somewhat small. Once you get to high school, it gets a lot bigger. There's a lot more people. I'm at the point now where I decided I wasn't going to stop making music because I didn't want people's opinions to affect me. That was something that I always stood strong on, and I'm very glad that I did. But when I was releasing this music, I started to get a lot of hate. To the point where when I would show up to school, I would get looks and people started calling me by like my username, and I genuinely felt in a way disowned by my peers. I felt like I was lesser than them because they all kind of saw me as this laughing stock. Now this actually started to hurt pretty bad because a lot of my friends who I genuinely thought were my friends had turned on me and basically showed that like they don't like me or mess with me anymore. But once again, there was this little light in the back of my head telling me to keep going and that attention is good regardless of the attention. As long as you're not harming anyone else, the attention that you can get is good. So I kept going, kept making bad songs. The songs were not good. They were getting better over time, but they just weren't good. Until eventually I made this one song that everybody had made a complete mockery of. Everyone at the school, at least that I had known of, that knew who I was, knew about this song. And this is where it gets bad. I remember going to class one day. I was wearing this like black sweatsuit. I was just trying to like be chill. I didn't want to talk to anyone. I just wanted to mind my own business. And I'm walking to class. And then I hear this kid across the class saying the lyrics to my song. And I had these AirPods in, so I was like, I gotta be hearing stuff. Took the AirPod out, look over. He's staring at me and like screaming it across the hall. And the level of public embarrassment and just humiliation was crazy. I had never felt anything similar because, like I said, there's an embarrassment where you're embarrassed, and then there's another type where everybody knows that you're embarrassed, and that's a lot worse in my opinion. So I don't know what to do. I don't know whether I should laugh, go with it. I genuinely am just completely lost. So I just start walking to class, and then I go and I sit down. And this is where it gets worse. In this class, these kids that I thought I was friends with pull out a speaker, and they started playing my music in front of me. Just like a complete public humiliation, just because they knew that it would get a laugh out of some people. And yes, I guess people did find it funny too. But once again, this is like the next level of where I genuinely felt so just disrespected, because I would never do something like that to somebody. I would never put somebody's vulnerability on display like that. And they had done that to me without batting an eye. Like, they thought that was really funny. And this was a level of embarrassment that was so heavy, I quit. I completely quit music from that day forward. Never did it again. I will never know if I would have been successful at that. And to make things worse, I had published this music on big platforms like Apple Music, Spotify, and all that. And a few months after quitting, I realized that I had a song that was doing very well before I took it down. One of the songs that people would play all the time had gotten almost 20,000 streams. And I just took it down because other people were, like, I guess just wanted to mess with me. Nobody even told me that my music was bad. They just wanted to, I guess, make a laughing stock of me. I genuinely don't understand even to this day. But now I lost a level of success that I might have had in a different thing, music, instead of doing content. But I don't know, maybe this was a blessing in disguise because I switched to content instead. But one of my biggest regrets in life was letting somebody dictate what I did with my life just because of what they thought of me. And I can't recommend that to any of you. You should never, ever listen to what these people around you say, especially in high school, because once you graduate, if you do well for yourself, emphasis on that, you will probably never speak to any of the people that went to your high school, maybe a small sum. I would say probably less than 10 people. That's been the case for me. And a lot of these people noticed once I started doing social media that I was doing well for myself. So they started reaching back out to me and saying all these things. I don't want to get too ahead of myself because this is a very important moment. I had lost one of the things that made me very happy because I felt so humiliated. So I started making content on social media. And I went viral pretty quick because I was so confident in myself. Like, believing in yourself is so important. And I truly did. And I went viral on my third ever video I ever posted. I went completely viral, and I never stopped posting because I made a pact to myself that I would never listen to other people's opinion and let it dictate my life. That is one of the worst mistakes you can ever make, ever, period. Never let anybody determine what you do with your life. I'll tell you that right now. And the only reason I'm in this apartment in Miami, and the only reason that I have over 300,000 subscribers, over 1 million followers on TikTok, over 100,000 on Snapchat, over 300,000 on Instagram, is because I didn't listen. And believe it or not, it actually got a lot worse. The more success that I saw on social media, the worse it got. And this all led up until I graduated from high school. And as soon as I did, it was like radio silence. I haven't heard a word from almost any of these people, except for the people who feel bad and messaged me about what I'm doing and how I'm doing, and hey, can I come do this for you or do that, and I think we should hang out and all this. Now that's like the cliche thing to happen, right? Of course it is, but I didn't think it was this real. And when I tell you this, I tell you this to help you and to hopefully inspire you. I'm living my dream. I'm making more money than I ever thought I would make, and literally everything I wanted to happen and everything that I believed would happen is happening because I didn't give up and I didn't listen to what anybody said. So that one video that I saw from Logan Paul truly changed my life forever. And I hope that this is the inspiration for you to forget what everybody else says and just do what makes you happy because it makes you happy, and don't listen to anyone else.